Hello, I'm Linda Carabaris and welcome to my kitchen. Today we're going to make a dish that was created in France called Ratatouille. And Ratatouille is a toss of vegetables which combines eggplant, onions, garlic, zucchini, summer squash, peppers. Oh, and it's delicious. You can use it as a side dish, serve it hot, cold, or at room temperature. And I'm going to show you a number of different ways you can use this beautiful dish. Okay, let's talk about the first ingredient, eggplant. Now, a lot of you are familiar with eggplant used in eggplant parmesan. So this is going to be a little bit different way to use eggplant. And I want to explain to you how to choose a good eggplant. Should have a nice smooth skin like this, heavy for its size, and a moist top. You don't want this to be dried out. This is the type that we're most familiar with in this area, but where does the name come from? Well, it comes from the white variety of eggplant because there are many different varieties of eggplant. And I've only seen the white one a couple of times, and that's usually in a specialty market or if somebody grows it that way. But it does look like a large egg and it's white. And I guess, I don't know, the flesh is probably a little bit different than this variety, but this is the variety that we're most familiar with and the one we're going to use in this dish today. So, the eggplant also tends to have a sponge-like effect with oil, and it soaks up a lot of oil if you try and saute it in a pan, and it sticks, and you got to try and you'll have to add more oil and mix it a lot more. So the way we're going to combat that today is we're going to roast it in the oven, and it's a nice, easy method, and I know you're going to like this. So let's get started. Let's prepare our eggplant. So first we'll cut off the top. Okay. And just take a little bit off the bottom. Next, I'm going to peel it. And there we are. Our eggplant is peeled. Let's clean this up. I've got my scrap bowl right here. And what's nice about this recipe is I'm not really going to have any measurements for you, just a medium eggplant, and this weighs about 3/4 of a pound. So you people out there that don't like to go by recipes and exact ingredients, this is going to be a perfect one for you guys. So eggplant tends to discolor easily, but we're going to, dice this very quickly, and it's going to be roasted, so it really doesn't matter. So I'm cutting it in about 1/2-inch slices. Okay, let me turn it around this way, just kind of square it off. And let me cut right down the middle like this. Okay. Then I'm going to cut it in lengths like this. Turn about every 1/2 inch. All right, finished dicing our eggplant. And did you know eggplant is really a fruit, not a vegetable, and more specifically, a berry? I thought that was interesting. All right. Now, take our eggplant. I'm going to drizzle it with some olive oil. Probably a couple of tablespoons. Then I like using my gloves. And I toss it. Whoop. Get back in here, you. Anybody see the movie Ratatouille? That was very cute. Although I don't know whether I'd really want a rat in my kitchen. Preheated oven, 375 degrees. Okay. Got my half sheet pan here. Right. Let's see. Just spread it out as best you can on the pan. You want a single layer. We're going to roast this at 375 for a total of 25 minutes, but I'm going to toss it after about 12 minutes. Okay, into the oven this goes, and I'll mise en place for the next step of the dish. Let's get started on our vegetables. And as you can see, yes, mise en place. I always like to remind you of that because that's what makes cooking not only easier, but fun too. So, I love my new garlic press. Easy to clean. So why don't I demonstrate? We have 3 cloves of garlic in this dish. So the first thing you do, put the garlic on the cutting board, crush it down with the flat edge of the knife. Peel it. That makes it easier to peel. Scrap bowl, of course, is there. Then there's a little end that you need to get rid of. There it is. Just the root end. So we cut that off. Let me continue with the other 2. All right. Hold the garlic press open like this. I think we can actually even get 2 cloves in there. And now watch this. Now before I squeeze this, this is also a little trick I'd like to show you. I've got a little bit of olive oil in this cup. And you know the way onions or garlic is kind of sticky? By coating, just putting maybe a teaspoon of olive oil in the bottom of a glass cup like this, you can easily remove the garlic or onion from the cup after. I'll demonstrate when we get to that point. All right. See, look at how nice and fine and minced that comes out. Oh, that's beautiful. That's going to give you a lot of flavor. There's our nicely fine minced garlic. Next, zucchini. Cut off the ends. Now what I do with this is, I just slice it lengthwise, right down the middle. Now, if you want to leave it in larger pieces, you can go like this. And I'd say I'm slicing these about every 1/8 of an inch. If you want more of a dice, which is what I like, just cut it again like this. And again, flat edge on the board. And does this have to be exact? No. Look, you got a nice dice. Continue with this. Oh, boy, I love vegetables. Turn it, flat side down. Do you see how just learning different cutting techniques just makes this so much easier? And this dish, this kind of thing you can do the night before, and then when you get home, or the following day, and just throw this all together. It's really a cinch. I can do this dish from beginning to end in under an hour. There we go. Let's put the zucchini in here. Oh, I love all kinds of vegetables. Oh, yum. Our yellow summer squash. I'm going to do the same thing. lengthwise, flat side down, cut it again down the middle. Kind of give this one a little curve because of the shape of the vegetable. Always go with the curve of the vegetable as much as you can. How do you like that? There, done with your zucchini and summer squash. Now you can put these two together because these are going to be added at the same time. Oh, we're going to review some cutting techniques today. This is the kind of thing, though, that I love learning, different cutting techniques. This is the sort of thing when I went to Johnson & Wales that I just wish I had learned 20, 30 years before. All right. Next up, pepper. And you may have seen this demonstration in other shows, but we're going to do a little review today since we have so many beautiful vegetables in this dish. And I've already diced some beautiful yellow peppers. This is going to be a very colorful dish. All right, think of a pepper in quadrants. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the bottom, I just take it like this, cut it like that. And yeah, you have a little bit of waste at the top, and if you have the time, if you want to pick around that and pull this off, you may. Slice it whatever thickness you'd like, 1/4 to 1/2 inch. Let me do one more. Okay, now turn them. Hold them together. There, beautiful diced peppers. Again, no special equipment needed. And last one. And as you notice, I cut them. It's easier to cut them with a sharp knife on the inside of the pepper. There we are. Peppers are done. And what a colorful combination this is. All right, last but not least, for lots of flavor, beautiful sweet red onion. First, cut the top off like this so it's nice and flat here. Put it down flat, cut in half. We're going to use 1/2 of a red onion. Now, let's see if there's any of that papery skin to peel off. See, there is. And look at how nicely, when you slice it like this peels right off. Beautiful. All right, now how I begin this, I take the onion and I hold it firmly. And oh boy, does my nail polish look match the red onion? I think so, a little bit. In the same color tones anyway. Cut it horizontal. Be very careful with this. Make sure you've got a nice sharp knife and go slow. Maybe 3 or 4 cuts. Then turn it, go like this, maybe I'm doing every 1/4 of an inch this way. Oh, that's my timer for the eggplant. Excuse me for a moment. We'll take that out in a minute once we finish cutting the onion. And I'm getting teary-eyed right now. Can you see this? So I need to finish this quickly. All right, and then down this way. Hold it together firmly. Go slow with this. And when you get to the end, you can kind of tip it and cut around the root end. All right, now let me show you the eggplant. Let's bring the eggplant out of the oven. This is what it looks like after 12 minutes. Now I just take the edges. Actually, let's do this. Hold the parchment down a bit. See, this is a nice healthy dish. You're not adding a ton of olive oil when you're trying to fry this. Push this all in toward the middle, and then just kind of toss out to the sides again and even it out. It's getting nice and roasted, and you'll get that roasted flavor in your dish also. Put this back in the oven for about another 10 minutes, and we'll mise en place for the last stage of the dish when we combine everything, put everything in the pot together. Our eggplant has finished. See how nice and browned and roasted that is, which gives that a different flavor also from frying. And you don't have all that extra added fat. Let's start this on medium. 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil. First step, we add our onions and peppers. Oh, look at those beautiful colors. And of course, as you know, each color represents different kind of nutrients. So we're going to get a lot of good stuff out of this dish. Saute a few minutes. I put the cover on to help that along, and just stir it every minute or two until it's softened. The onions and peppers have softened, and actually that took about 4 to 5 minutes. So let's remove the cover. Oh, it smells so good. Check this out. So they're just beginning to soften. And now this is when you want to add your garlic, your next aromatic. And see how this slides out of the dish? Isn't that a nice trick now that I put the olive oil in there? Okay. And I also want to point out that this dish, you want to do this in stages. A lot of people throw everything in together, and it's not the same thing. You have to build a dish like this, just like you would with soups, because especially vegetables, they get done at different times of cooking, and you don't want to overcook certain delicate vegetables. And now I'm adding the garlic, and I'm only going to stir it around maybe, less than a minute. And what that is doing now is it's flavoring that oil that's in with the onions and peppers, and without burning it. Because if we put the garlic in at the same time as the peppers and onions, 5 or 6 minutes, you might burn it, and then you cannot get that burnt flavor out of any dish once you've done that. So, okay, garlic's in there, and that's flavored it. Now, we'll add our zucchini, because this really only takes a few minutes to cook. So in go zucchini and summer squash. Oh, look at this already. We need to add some moisture. So at this time, we'll add a good can of diced tomatoes and their own juices. Okay. I add some basil or whatever herb you'd like to add. Salt, of course. I'm going to start with about a half teaspoon, and then you can adjust your seasonings later. Some freshly ground black pepper. I turn the heat up on this. We'll cover it and we'll let this go 2 or 3 minutes until the squash starts to soften. Oh, look at this. Now 2 minutes have gone by and the squash is just starting to soften. Oh, look at how pretty that is. Now at this point we add our roasted eggplant and some halved cherry tomatoes. Here's our roasted eggplant that's been cooling. Just add this right off the parchment paper. And the eggplant, of course, is already cooked. And I'm adding these halved cherry tomatoes last because I just want to warm this dish at this time. Especially these tomatoes. I don't really want them to break down because I want them to retain a little bit of their texture and color in this dish. It just adds another dimension to it and keeps the tomatoes tasting fresh. So I just bring this up to a simmer, cover it, I'll turn off the heat and I'll let this set a few minutes, and then I'm going to show you how you can use this dish in a number of different ways. Okay, this has been sitting about 8 to 10 minutes and now everything is warmed and cooked all the way through. So I'll show you what I mean by things being done at different levels. So now when we shut off the dish earlier and let this just sit, look at how the zucchini is fork tender. It's not overcooked, not mushy, and it's cooked all the way through. So none of the vegetables are overcooked. And this is just so beautiful. At this point, let's serve it up as a side dish. Okay. Look at this. Oh, that is so nice, isn't it? Beautiful color. All right, that's our side dish. Now, if you want to make this into a meal, let's take some nice egg noodle pasta. And I'm going to ladle some of this over the top. Oh boy, look at that. Let's get some of that juice in there. Right over the top. And you can add any kind of a protein at this point to make it a complete meal. So I have grilled some shrimp. Let's lay some nice grilled shrimp on top of this. Of course, you could add any kind of sausage. Oh. Okay, let's do a few shrimp. Love shrimp, love it. These are just bouncing right off the plate. Oh, doesn't that look nice? All right, put that guy back in there. And another dish, look at this beautiful bruschetta. Earlier, I took some nice hearty bread that I toasted. You can either grill it or toast it in the oven. Put the ratatouille on top, sprinkle a little bit of cheese, put it in the oven, 375, 5 minutes, and you've got a beautiful bruschetta. Of course, you can also use this as a topping for pizza. So there you have it. 3 ways to use this beautiful ratatouille. Ratatouille. Thank you to the French for creating a wonderfully versatile dish. I'm Linda Carabaris. To view previous episodes of Linda's Kitchen and for more recipes, log on to lindas-kitchen.com. Thank you for spending time with me in my kitchen this week, and I'll see you the next time.